So this just happened. I woke up this morning in a great mood. I saw the TikTok of one of my favorite creators, Chasing Oz. She's from Florida. And she was educating women, especially young women, that it wasn't until 1974 that women were given the right to open a bank account. Only men could do it. Only husbands could do it. It wasn't too far before then that black people were given the right to open up bank accounts or take out loans. And I was thinking, gosh, I was 9 years old at the time. I'm giving my age away. And we have come a long way. I was so happy about that. I am in a male-dominated field. And when I got into the field in 1986, I remember our department, all men, set up a golf outing with several clients who were also all men, because men ran companies, owned companies. But I was really excited to go golfing. And I will never forget the day before the golf outing. My boss came up to me, and let me tell you, he was not comfortable. He felt very bad having to tell me that I wouldn't be able to go on this golf outing. Because back then, golf courses were allowed to restrict women on golf courses before noon. This was 1986. My male counterparts who had graduated college the same time I did and went through the training program with me, I watched them talk up about the big golf outing the next day, and I was literally going to the bathroom every 10 minutes just to bawl. And it wasn't until a couple years after that our state's Congress, which was Democratic led at that time, passed a law banning golf courses from doing any such thing. We've come a long way. And then I remember inspecting private golf courses, and I needed to see the commercial kitchens. And a lot of these golf courses have a men's lounge, a men's bar, only men allowed. And we're getting ready to walk to the kitchen, and he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, you can't walk through the restaurant. Only men can go through there." And I had to go outside, back by the dumpsters, and into the back door of the kitchen to inspect it. Today, these men's lounges are still there, these separate restaurants, that's fine. And whoever I'm walking with, being escorted with, we walk through the restaurant so I can get to the kitchen. We've come a long way. But then the universe decided to bitch slap me into reality this morning. I get a knock at my door. It's the employee of a very large home remodeling company. He set up an appointment. He's letting me know he set up an appointment 2 houses down to inspect their windows. And they can come out and inspect ours and not try to sell us on windows. This is what he's telling me, but just examine the condition of the windows and kind of give you a time frame of when you might need to replace them. And to be honest, this is not how I acquire work. I research when I need it, and I go out and I find a good company. But I thought, you know what? My husband and I were talking about the age of these windows. Why not? So we set it up for Saturday morning. He then says, before we confirm this day and time, I need to know if your husband will be there. And I said, well, no, he won't be. He won't be. Oh, I'm sorry. We're not going to be able to set this up. We need to do it when he's going to be here. When will he be back? And I said, well, I can handle this. I can take in the information. I'm going to understand what's being said. He said, ma'am, I'm so sorry. I understand. But we need him to be here. Now keep in mind, For over 30 years, I have worked with clients who are general contractors, drywallers, window installers, concrete, masonry, excavation, you name it. I have also worked with window manufacturers, many who went out of business, many that are still here today. I'm in risk management. I need to know what can go wrong with windows and their installation. I know more than my husband in this area, and my husband knows a lot. He fixes everything. So I told him I'm sorry then. I'm just going to pass. And then he just was like, no, really, we can come out when he's going to be back. And I said, I'm sorry. No, I need to get back to work. I didn't just leave it there. I quickly researched the ownership of this contractor and the service provider. And it's two brothers who own it. I went on Open Secrets. They donate bigly to Donald Trump and other Republicans. And I noticed that they had made donations to Turning Point USA a few years back. Okay. All right. Project 2025 in spirit. This is who these dudes are. But I'm just not going to make assumptions. So I go to my neighbor who I know, and the husband answers. And I'm like, hey, I understand this contractor was just here. You guys set something up for Saturday morning. Can I ask you a question? And I'm like, where's your wife? I wanted her to be part of the conversation. He said, oh, she's at the grocery store. And I said, do you mind if I ask you, when they set up this appointment with you for Saturday, did they ask you if your wife was going to be there? No. Did they tell you that she was going to need to be there for this appointment to happen? No. This is what going back looks like. When Kamala says we're not going back, this is exactly what she's talking about. It's not just laws that these white evangelical nationalists are trying to pass, where the white man is at the top of the patriarchy, the pyramid. Who gets control? Who's at the top? It's also a way of living, and it's coming through how businesses operate, and you can see where women become second-class citizens. So I want to thank the universe for keeping that fight alive in me, and really my fight for my daughters and your daughters. Very emotional. This is just crazy. This is crazy. I made a TikTok this morning, and it went viral. I just came back on and I just saw that it blew up. And this is for young women, especially. If you click on this comment, it's going to give you the option to go back to my original TikTok. And I am urging, especially our young women, I am urging you to read the thousands of stories in the comment section. Women, how even though we feel like in America we are equal and seen as equal to men, we have a long way to go, and that it wasn't very long ago that we were very much treated like second-class citizens. And I'm reminded of it reading all the comments, women sharing, in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, that this is how we were treated. And we don't need Donald Trump to win to go back, because Donald Trump already won in 2016, which gave the white nationalists, Christian nationalists, leap years of a head start to push the whole theocracy, which includes women's roles in American society. You don't need policies to take us back in time, because they're changing us culturally. which is how Project 2025 lays it out when they talk about the 7 mountain mandates. They're talking about impacting belief systems and culture so that women are once again second-class citizens, and the white evangelical male is at the very top and in control of everything. I made a TikTok many months ago getting into detail, the nasty, sordid detail of Project 2025 under the family section, and how they plan to institute policies, economic policies, that make it incredibly hard to be a single mother or to live as a single independent woman. And what they propose to do is to shift all of the tax dollars that go to programs to help single moms, shift it instead to the traditional male-female marriage, with additional rewards to be a stay-at-home mom and have even more babies to produce more, as we now know, slave labor workers. It's all in there. And they don't even need to pass these policies and win at this point, because I believe they sufficiently have released this virus already. They're trying to normalize this and educate people through evangelical churches and all the right-wing podcasts and you name it, to normalize treating women as second-class citizens. And when you go in and you read the comments, the real experiences, just know, as hard as it is for white women, it's 100 times harder for women of color. Add that to it. So we need to be plugged in. We need to continue voting blue up and down the ticket every chance we get, now that the Republican Party has been completely hijacked by this evangelical party that right now has millions of MAGA supporters to give them their blessings and give them their votes. Yeah, this. Young people, you guys probably don't even know Tiger Woods. When he first became famous and started breaking all of the golf records, he earned a spot to play at the tournament in Augusta, a private golf course in Augusta, and he wasn't allowed to play because he was a black man. And that wasn't that long ago. That was what? In the early 90s? It wasn't that long ago at all. And it reminds me of the 90s and the 2000s, when my insurance company at the time would have to pay discrimination claims on behalf of our clients, which were private golf courses, private yacht clubs, other private clubs. And black men who had rightfully earned enough money, whether they owned their own businesses or they had a college degree and worked up the ladder, they had enough money that they wanted to be members at a local private golf course or boat club, and they were denied. They were discriminated against. And I got to tell you, we paid hundreds and thousands of dollars in claims because there were so many lawsuits from courageous black men who are heroes, because they didn't just let it pass. They had the courage to walk into a law firm somewhere and ask for representation because they wanted to sue. And that is how things began to change. From an insurance standpoint, I have to ask management level type questions to make sure we're not dealing with a private club that may have the propensity to discriminate. I have to make that determination, and that's thanks to these black men. And this is the kind of fight we have to be ready to fight so we do not go back again. And that's why Donald Trump being escorted into the White House on the backs of the dark billionaire evangelical money, who got the Project 2025 Supreme Court justices appointed to the Supreme Court when they passed the law overturning those civil rights type of protections. It was devastating. Saying that you can discriminate, turn someone away, deny them service because of your religious beliefs opens that whole Pandora box to white people being able to discriminate against black people, men being able to discriminate against women, people discriminating against our elderly, age discrimination, discriminating because they're gay. This is why that was so devastating. This is why we can't have Republicans winning again. The normal old-fashioned Republicans who were just Republican because they were fiscally conservative, they're going to have to fight to get their party back, or they're going to have to just start up a different party. But this is the fight we have today.